I'm Craven, and I need your thoughts. If you would, please leave a comment, like, subscribe. About half the people that are watching this tend to subscribe. If the other half of you would go ahead and hit that little button, I'd appreciate it if you learned something. But I want to take care of a couple things. One thing is I don't have a store. I'm not going to be selling merchandise. It kind of goes against the whole gray man concept that I kind of adhere to. You'll see me wearing very bland shirts that if you saw me in a crowd, you'd never think about. I'm not going to stand out. So, no store. I do have a Patreon account, however, and if you would like to go there and become a supporter of this channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. So, over the last couple of days, I made jerky, and there's two lessons that I want to kind of impart here. One is jerky is a great mainstay for a prepper's pantry. We used to, hundreds of years ago, it was the main form of food kept through the winter time, or through the summertime, into the summertime, into the winter, for a lot of folks. And by not seasoning it, just drying it as is, then you take the jerky, throw it in a pot with your stew, and now you have meat in your stew. But what I made yesterday was teriyaki with a little bit of garlic, a little extra garlic. I like garlic. And a little bit of pepper. And my girls came and stole just about all of it I made, which is great. I made 15 pounds of jerky, and that's a lot of cutting meat. But something went wrong in the middle of it. I have a dehydrator. My dehydrator broke. So I got to play at and work at another skill that we all need to have, and that's the ability to fix things without going out and necessarily buying brand new. Because let's think about it this way. If after everything collapses, you're not going to be able to run down to Walmart and pick up the newest, best dehydrator out there. You're going to have to work with what you have. Now, since we have an abundance of electricity now and no worries about anything like that, I used my oven as the drying location. Put a cookie sheet with a good heavy lip on it underneath all of the racks in the oven. Clean the oven racks, put the meat right over the oven racks, turn the oven on to 180, and let it dry for many hours. And every so often, take the cookie sheet out right at first and drain it, because all the drippings drop down into that, and it will fill up quickly on some of you that soak your meat heavy in teriyaki like I do. So, and open the stove every 15 minutes. And what that does is allow that extra moisture that's in the air to escape. And while I'm doing this, I took apart my dehydrator. I took every screw that was in there apart. And that was a tough deal. Anyway, but I took it apart in such a way that various parts went in different areas of my little workbench, so that when I put it back together, I had all the parts already broken down into the way that they go back together. And so I tore down my entire dehydrator, found the problem, fixed it without having to buy anything, put it all back together, plug it in, worked beautiful. You know how many extra parts I had? 0. I actually tend to end up with an extra screw here or a piece there, not sure where it went. This time I used every piece, every screw. So But we can also do this another way. Yesterday was a beautiful day here where I live. Nice 92 degrees outside, sunny, low humidity. It would have been a beautiful day to dry all that meat outdoors. Now, the way I would prefer to do it is still put it over the oven racks, but to have a wooden stand to be able to put the racks in easily, lay them in there, and you can make that stand out of anything. Old pallet wood would be just fine. Something to just hold the racks. So, but then sturdy enough in a box form to wrap it with saran wrap. And the reason for that would be just to keep the bugs and the pests off of it. You don't want flies landing on it and doing what flies do. And you don't want the local animals all wanting to come get your food. And by wrapping it in saran wrap, you do two things. You would create basically a little hothouse that's going to dry that meat that much faster. And I would suggest taking it at the very bottom and putting a window screen in to keep the flies from coming in from the bottom, but wrap the entire thing all the way around and over the top in saran wrap. Make that hothouse and dry that jerky. Try it sometime. Make your own. We go to the store and we buy it, but I actually made, like I said, 15 pounds of jerky. And if you've looked at a pound of jerky, it's expensive. And this cost me right at $4 a pound, something like that. So that's the story for today. Again, don't have a store, have no intention of having a store. Do have a Patreon account. Like, comment, subscribe. Send in your recipe for jerky. I know just straight dried meat would be great for my stews. And that's something that I'm going to work on for the next time, as long as my girls don't come and steal it all. So I'm Craven. I need your thoughts. Please send them to me. Appreciate y'all.